in terms of people living a simple life in an eco-town, I mean, basically, as I imagine it, people will be getting up in the morning, getting in their car and driving to Norwich to work or everywhere else. And councils have said very clearly that the eco-town is dependent on building a 4-lane bypass. So again, that tells me that people are not going to be living a simple life. They're going to be driving, you know, on the Northern Distributor route. And that is all back to front to CPRE. The fact of having an eco-town that's dependent on a new road, that doesn't add up to us. And it's part of a bigger package that CPRE Norfolk have been lobbying about for a long while. And we have done a lot of work with the Government Office of East of England, the Department of Transport, and various other high-level bodies trying to get that called in, basically, because it's a political decision, not a decision of the people. And, you know, if we're not careful, there will be no, you know, we are lobbying very hard to see decisions taken by Broadland District Council of this scale go to a public inquiry and get properly looked at by the people, you know, by people in power in consultation with local communities. So, yeah, the Northern Distributor route is something, again, that we've campaigned about for at least 10 to 15 years, and now it's getting to the point where you know, lots of people know that it's coming and are beginning to raise their own voices. The plans for the eco-town also, you know, are wrapped up in the idea of that there's going to be lots of affordable housing provided. There may well be plans for affordable housing, but again, we feel that affordable housing should be decided by local communities through the parish planning process. That communities have the idea of how many houses they can take and are needed. And by working with district councils and housing associations, we can have a bottom-up approach to providing affordable housing. At the moment, the system is dependent on building massive housing estates of market housing for sale and providing a small cut of affordable housing to meet targets. That, to us, is all, again, not joined up, it's back to front. And we lobby the government hard to put more money directly into affordable housing, so it's not just dependent on the open market and on big planning schemes like we're seeing here in Rackheath. Also, you know, ideas of an eco-town are very wrapped up in, that they use this term green infrastructure, which drives me mad, that term, which is all about providing, you know, wildlife corridors and green parks in the middle of a town. But for us, that again, that doesn't work, because we don't feel that, you know, the countryside should surround the town. You shouldn't have a pseudo countryside in the middle of a town. That doesn't add up. So we don't buy that again. So, you know, we will continue to be a voice like SNUB, objecting to these proposals. We will do it in a different way to you, probably, and we will be very much involved on the planning side of it, and you know, really going very carefully through the planning policy consultations at national, regional and local level. Nationally, CPRE have been very critical of the eco-towns process because we feel it circumvents the democratic planning system. The idea of the government just coming up with you know, a short list of sites that it proposes for eco-towns, for giving money before a planning application has been decided on. It's all back to front to us. Writing a planning policy statement about eco-towns with specific sites written in them is something that's never been seen before in the history of the English planning system. but the government is doing it that way. And we've been very critical about that, and we've also liked to think that, you know, the Conservative Party have also been very critical about the Ecotown process, and we like to feel we've had some influence on their thinking about that. And it will be interesting if there is a change in government where that goes. So that's nationally. Regionally, we've just responded to a regional housing scenarios consultation on housing for the 6 counties in the east of England. Locally, we've been responding to consultations by the Greater Norwich Development Partnership, and in the summer there will be an examination in public of their strategies for housing in Norfolk, and we will very much hope to have a seat at the table in that process. So it's a very formal, high-level planning way that we try and influence it. On the ground here, you will take a different approach, and that's just as it should be. The other thing that we do that I'll just finish on is that you may be interested in is that we do every September. CPRE runs tours of eco buildings, as in actual eco buildings, as in actual low impact buildings built by straw or cob, or people who've done things with their own homes, you know, retrofitted their own homes with all sorts of different technologies and all sorts of DIY energy efficient tips. We get them to open up their houses for tours by the general public in order to actually promote the idea that it is possible for everybody to do this stuff. You don't need a big developer from London coming in and building you one. It's possible for everyone to have an eco house. So look out for that, because it's a very popular, very public event, and it gives you a unique opportunity to actually visit eco houses across the county and actually say to developers, it's been done here, why can't it be done somewhere else? So I think I'll finish there. We are a membership organisation, CPRE. If you do want, you know, to support our work, if you do want to find out a bit more about it, I've left some leaflets outside. There's a copy of our newsletter out there as well, with an article about the Ecotown that I wrote recently and information about the green buildings tours. And you can look at our website, cprenorfolk.org.uk. Just find out a bit more about what we do, because I hope to be working with you in the future. Thanks.